Yes, indeed. Welcome into another episode of Total Hockey Now here on the Total Hockey Now YouTube channel. My defensive partner for today over there is at Fuzzy Chris 91. I am at Pucking Thoughts Adam Bernard at Ant Rivera 86. We'll say on assignment. I don't know what he's up to today. Just say he's on assignment. That's a good way to put it. Not getting drunk at the U.S. Open this week, which I was envious last week of.
That's what I thought the assignment was going to be. Checking out the drinks, seeing if they're all
maybe
good.
he's going 2 weeks in a row. I don't know. It's possible.
It's still going on, right? The U.S. Open. I haven't watched a minute of tennis. So.
I would. Yeah. Again, one of my favorite sporting events to attend. Wish I could go back and go to that, but nonetheless, we got a jam-packed Total Hockey Now today. Of course, we're going to do a mock draft later. We'll get to that in about 35 or so minutes. But we're going to talk defensemen today. It's all about the blue liners here. We're going to start. Last year, we did top 10s at each position. We're going to tweak that a little bit. We're going to do tiers. We're going to take the top 25 at the position, eligible for the position. So, for example, Leon Draisaitl is going to show up on the center and the left wing list, according to Yahoo. We're going to rank the top 25 for each position today. Defensemen. We'll talk some Norris Trophy odds as well. And then we'll get to the mock draft. But I think without further ado here, why don't we get right to our rankings here? And, as you could tell, Cale Makar already in the S tier. The only question with Cale Makar is, are we putting him in a tier by himself? Or is Quinn Hughes a candidate to be in there with him? Is Zach Werenski? Or is Cale Makar just truly in a class by himself?
I have him in a class of his own. I mean, he's only there. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything wrong with like Quinn Hughes coming extremely close to that, but the pace at which Makar can score goals, the pace of which he can rack up points and play every single position that you need. So power play, 5-on-5, penalty kill. To me, he sits in a league of his own. Like he is the top defenseman in fantasy, and that's about it. You could argue about what, like, Quinn Hughes is certainly very, very close. I just don't think Quinn Hughes can score at the same level that Makar can.
This is the argument, and I agree with you. I think we put him in, and that's not a knock on Quinn Hughes or Zach Werenski, but this is the argument I'll make. Last year, when we were previewing the season and doing our mock drafts, you get Cale Makar towards the back end of the first round. Sometimes if you felt frisky, you could even wait for that turn, get him early in the second round. Couldn't get him after that point. To see him even get to the middle of the second round was like, whoa. This year, your top three are pretty much always going to be McDavid, Draisaitl, McKinnon, outside of like various premium position, whatever leagues or anything like that. Kucherov is pretty much a solidified 4, but you could sell me on Makar at 4. But he is the 5th overall pick, and that's not a knock to David Pastrnak, but it's going to be heavy. It's going to be tough in Boston this year. Whereas he is just I don't remember, like, besides like maybe peak Erik Karlsson in Ottawa, there hasn't really been a bona fide first round defenseman like Makar, at least in some time.
Yeah, and listen, he can rack up shots as well. He can block shots as well. He doesn't throw his weight around, but like, it is hard to hit your opponent when the puck is always on your stick. So that's one of those categories where you're like, you can't, like, you either get a ton of shots or you could get a ton of hits, but he possesses the puck. He fills multiple categories. If that's a league that you're in, there is to me, there's no argument. He is one class above in the fantasy hockey world.
Okay, now before we move on and start doing the other ones, because obviously the guy who's going to probably lead off tier 2 here is Quinn Hughes. So let's just throw him in the A tier here. In a world where Cale Makar doesn't exist, do we talk about Quinn Hughes in the same way Cale Makar gets talked about, at least from a fantasy perspective?
I think so. I have nothing wrong with Quinn Hughes sitting where he is at this point, regardless of what the Canucks do. If they can generate offense, like, Quinn Hughes will still get all the attention that he deserves, and he is a very good defenseman to quarterback any of your fantasy teams. Like, it's if you're in that second round, you've taken a bona fide goal scorer, and you can get him towards the end of the second round. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing that'll slow you down. Maybe the shot volume can be a little bit tricky there. We'll see what he He can produce. You can maybe have a conversation and say, oh, well, like, can the goal scoring be where it needs to be? Maybe. But to me, he's right there.
So he's going to lead off tier 2, or the A tier, we'll say. Zach Werenski obviously belongs in there. You know, he would have ran away with a Norris Trophy last year if it wasn't for a guy named Cale Makar, obviously in a class by himself. Really no arguments there. And I would assume Rasmus Dahlin also going in this A tier here, in this, we'll call it, it's a second tier, but if it really is the top tier, because Cale Makar, like we said, in a class by himself.
I would put Rasmus Dahlin there for a number of reasons. One, I mean, he's on a terrible team, so he's going to play a ton. And in fantasy hockey, you need production. He's going to give it to you. He can shoot the puck. He can block shots as well. He is a cause. If you play fantasy hockey on DraftKings, he is a threat to finish what we call the double bonus, which is 5+ shots, 3+ block shots, and those are big categories for a defenseman to fill. I will leave Zach Werenski in the A column. I do like his goal scoring is second, maybe Cale Makar. The problem is
22 last year.
20, yeah. And listen, anytime a defenseman's flirting with 20 some odd goals, that is elite beyond elite. He can shoots the puck a bunch and everything. The only thing that worried me was the splits. At home, he was on a whole other planet. At home, he was Cale Makar. And then on the road, all of a sudden, he fell apart. But it's not just him. Like the Columbus Blue Jackets as a team did not have good home versus away splits. So you have to take the good, the exceptionally good, and then the kind of mediocre with him on the road. But that, again, for fantasy purposes, if you're in a league where goals matter, he scores them. And I'm hoping he can push like the 70+ points, right? Which is still asking a lot because you need about 20 goals, 50 assists. I don't know if he can constantly do that just with the way that Columbus played on the road. But if they can be just a little bit better and he can continue to tear at the pace, nobody's taking his spot. That's the one thing you can look at with Werenski. Nobody's taking a spot. That's his. It's his every night. The upside is there. The shot volume is just elite. So if you have a chance to put your hands on Zach Werenski, go ahead.
All right. So we still got 21 guys to go here. Victor Hedman. We're still putting him in this A tier here. I know we're starting to get to the end here, but I would still put him up there for, he's the top dog in Tampa Bay, all around guy, contributes in every category. He's still there for me. Like, to me, he's like, okay, the draft went the defenseman heavy early. At least Hedman's still there to okay, I could still get him. So to me, he's still in that class.
I can live with it, but he is definitely the poor man's version of that class. Like the gap between Quinn Hughes and him is significant. He's probably a better real life defenseman at this point than he is fantasy. I don't know if the numbers are going to be able to be as high for it to merit him being your number one defense. And that is me, right? Some people may not see it the same way, but the volume is certainly not there anymore for him. The points can still be there just because when you're on a power play with Kucherov, like Kucherov had 100+ assists in one season. I mean, the man can facilitate the puck wherever he wants on the ice. But to me, he's borderline A, probably better, like top end B. He kind of falls into that middle category there. But if you want to build your team, if you're getting him, let's say in the 3rd round, somewhere there, I can live with it.
Now, I will point out, 16-year vet, a lot of tread off the tires, but 15 goals, 51 assists, 26 power play points last year, still averaging a little over 23 minutes a game. So this is probably the last year that he's going to be in this tier and then not drop down. But yeah, I agree that's probably where that tier ends. Now, this is a guy we'll talk about more on the Norris later, but Adam Fox, he leads off this tier here, we think?
I would have no problem with somebody arguing for him to be in the A tier list as well.
He's got that potential. He's
definitely done it. The Rangers are now moving him out of being handcuffed to whatever below
Ryan Lindgren,
right? And like Fox is an elite defenseman He can play multiple, like he can play the power play, he can play the penalty kill 5-on-5. He is an above average defender. He is very, very good. The problem is that you're going to look at his numbers from last year and say, well, he's not very good. You say, okay, but that is a team issue, right? And for me, like Fox deserves that top power play unit spot. He's a great facilitator. Maybe the goals aren't there. The shot volume also is, but like you're comparing him in a group with guys like, Werenski and Dahlin, guys who can take multiple shots. That's not his game. He can block a whole bunch of shots. So if you're looking for defensemen who can block shots as well, along with rack up points, Adam Fox is the name. He could easily finish with 60 plus assists. Easily.
And here's the other thing. Like you pointed out, he plays on the top power play, second penalty kill unit, so he's getting all his special. And here's the other thing too. He got shackled by he was shackled by Ryan Lindgren. It's the polar opposite of that effect with Gavrikov. Now Fox can run free knowing, hey, Gavrikov's got my back. Very rarely is he gonna is that gonna make me look bad? So yeah, he's gonna have more freedom this year. New coaching system in place. Sullivan knows what he's got in him. Been in the same division with them forever. So yeah, a lot of reasons. And as a Ranger fan, I got no problem bumping him up into that A tier. So now that we have Fox there, are we ready to put Morrissey to lead off the B tier? Is he the guy to lead off the B? Okay.
He's like, and again, there's nothing wrong with him. He's a great, you're probably going to get him at good value. Like there's a lot of good defensemen at the top, but you know what you're getting with Josh Morrissey when he's healthy. The Winnipeg Jets are still a very good team, and Josh Morrissey is still the best defenseman on his team. He's going to see power play time. He's going to get the opportunity to go out there and contribute. The Jets are still a team that are going to score goals. Like and same thing like a lot of other defensemen. He's going to get opportunities on the power play, going to get opportunities on the penalty kill. He's probably a 65-point guy. That's probably the ceiling of what I'm looking at. Anything more than that is a bonus. If you're getting a 65-plus point defenseman at that point, you're doing just fine.
What's Seider's ADP? Moritz Seider's ADP at? We'll talk about Moritz Seider in a little bit there, but he's also another bounce back candidate and yes, I know he's on a bad team, but he's a guy that probably you're looking at maybe more in that like 6th, 7th, 8th round range. Is probably waiting a little too late at that point, depending upon the league.
Listen, for Moritz Seider in itself, this is a player who won Rookie of the Year, and then he's kind of just been there. He is again, he's probably a much better real life defenseman than he is in terms of fantasy. Like he has not eclipsed 50 points ever, but there are things that he does well, right? He plays a lot. He defends, he blocks shots. The volume isn't there. He's only 24, by the way. Like he's 24 and he's entering his 5th year in the league. He has played every game. Like he's played 82 games in 40 years. So the consistency with him is there. The problem is he plays on a terrible team. And I'm not seeing enough from him fantasy wise, like in a points league to really say, yeah, man, I got to go out and get him. He is to me, he's a C tier level defenseman. You add him as a second, probably better suited as a third defenseman on your fantasy team. But it's because I want to see the upside in points. I want to see him explode for 55, 60 points and really go out there. I'm not seeing it yet. And it's, again, maybe it's just building, and it's fine. He's a young kid. He's a defenseman learning to play in the NHL. But I'm still waiting for that explosion. But getting that 45 to 50-point range defenseman is not elite. That's just good.
And remember, we are ranking from a fantasy perspective, not a on the ice perspective here in this exercise. And yes, there's still good defensemen that are out there that aren't on this top 25 and ADP for Yahoo that we're using. Like a Cam Fowler is a perfect example of somebody that I'm very happy with as my 4th defenseman. Seth Jones, very happy with him as my 3rd. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind. We're just going through because we can't be here all day, right? So we talked about Seider, we talked about Morrissey. Let's just put. I'm going to put Blaine Hudson here in the B tier, and I'll just give you the floor.
I mean, listen, what he did as a rookie is just beyond understanding, right? Like He had 60 assists as a rookie in the NHL. That's like, he's a kid. He's literally a child. He can finally drink in the United States. Like, he is good. And what is it possible that he takes a step back? Maybe, right? Because now the league's going to understand it. But there's a couple of things that come in here. One, his skating is great. Like, he is an above average skater. And that makes up for the fact that he is a shorter king. Like, he's 5'9", right? 5'9", 162 pounds. Like, he's not a big boy. And sometimes that scares people. From a fantasy perspective, he's quarterbacking that top unit. I know Noah Dobson's in town, but that is like Hudson. Once Hudson figures out that he can shoot the puck as well, he's going to be just fine. That's probably where the peripherals come out. He's not a heavy shot volume guy. Doesn't really block a ton of shots either, but he's racking up assists. He is a poor man's version of Adam Fox, basically, right? And I think as that confidence comes and he understands his role, teams are going to worry more about him trying to facilitate the puck, which means he's going to get scoring opportunities. So maybe we don't see as many assists. Maybe we see more goals. Listen, if he's flirting anywhere with the 65-point total, and just to put this into context, like, he didn't get the starting job out of camp on the top power play unit. They ran Mike Matheson out there too long. Patrick Laine, if he's healthy, you get a full year of him on the power play as well. That shot is lethal. There are lots of options. Demidov is coming up. There are lots of Montreal Canadiens forwards that can find the back of the net consistently at a high level. And he's going to be facilitating that puck. So I would be more than comfortable with having him. If you've gone out and you've taken, let's say, a goalie in the first couple of rounds and 2 elite players, if you're catching him in that 4th round, now you're getting some good value. The goals are not going to be there, but you dealt with that at the beginning. You know what I mean? You found the goals elsewhere.
That's my thing about, okay, the defensemen aren't delivering goals. If you're using defensemen as a source of goals, that's a problem, because there's very few Cale Makar and Zach Werenski's. So to me, a guy with a crazy assist total that only has 4 goals, great. I'll get my goals from a left wing, a right wing, somewhere else in my lineup. So like goal production, I don't necessarily care about from defensemen. Maybe somebody like an Evan Bouchard who's got that, cannon from the point on that power play. Different style defenseman though.
Yeah, and listen, I get that he's a crazy assist bomb guy. That's it to start, but that's 60 assists though in a rookie season, and now you can better that on a team that, to me, the Montreal Canadiens, as long as they're healthy, there are more guys that can find the back of the net, and that is key. You need guys to be able to finish, right? In order for you to get assists, you need guys to find the back of the net. The Montreal Canadiens have guys who can find the back of the net.
All right, so a couple more guys I want to throw in this B tier here as well, before we, because we got a bunch of guys to get to, and I can't believe I forgot to have Evan Bouchard on my list. So before I get him in the queue below, Thomas Harley, B tier or C tier? I say B tier because that's the guy you want to own in Dallas on that high octane, very potent offense. He's the guy that's quarterbacking the power play. Played for Team Canada in the Four Nations, showed he can handle the big stage a little bit. So he's a guy I'm throwing in that B tier. An underrated guy that I would also throw in that is Mackenzie Weegar, because across the board, he just gets you everything, and he's the guy in Calgary. So far, any problem with those two guys being in the B tier?
For Thomas Harley, I want to see the next step out of him, but he's going to get a chance, and it's going to hinder on how much Miro Heiskanen plays, because Miro Heiskanen to me is a better real life defenseman, right? I would take like as many Miro Heiskanens as possible on my team, right? And Heiskanen is the same thing. He is an assist bomb first. Harley can score goals, right? In his last 2 years, he scored 16 last year, 15 the year before. He can find the back of the net. And the Dallas Stars are just loaded with offensive skill. So he can go out there and pick up his assists well. The problem is he hasn't done that. He hasn't gotten a ton of assists. But I also want to see the playing time increase. I want to see him get those top power play opportunities. I want to see him roll out there. I think you could probably get him at a great discount, because some people are just going to forget him, or they're not going to think that he's that good. And that's false. The scoring is there. The points are just not following just yet. But I think the explosion can come. For Weegar, it's maybe the points aren't going to be there as much. I think maybe Rasmus Anderson still being there kind of clouds that as to what the Calgary Flames want to do. The Flames in general as a team are a low scoring team. So his value is going to come from everything else that he does, which is block shots, right? Throws his weight around a little bit. The shot volume can be good. It's hit or miss, right?
Okay.
That's kind of he's probably on the lower end of the B tier, right? But he's more, I think he has a higher floor than, let's say, a guy like Moritz Seider. So,
all right. So Evan Bouchard, no disrespect. Are we putting him with Adam Fox at the end of that A tier, or maybe even ahead of Hedman?
He's probably at the end of the A tier. And
okay.
the problem is with Evan Bouchard is what you're getting from him, right? There's no other way around it. You know that you're getting the upside on the power play. If he doesn't have that, then it doesn't work, right? If the Edmonton Oilers are not dialed in on the power play, then it slows everything down for him. He had what last season? He had 67 points, which is great, but it's not the 82 that he had the previous year. And that's because we saw Edmonton's power play not be as efficient. So yes, he's going to get goals. He's going to rack up those secondary assists and stuff on the power play. He's a big hit or miss, right? I think he's closer to what we saw last year. I think he's closer to a 65-point defenseman. Because if he's at an 82 pace like he was the year before, well, now he's in the Cale Makar conversation, because now he's averaging a point per game, scoring a ton of goals. Not there yet. I don't think so. Good news is he's going to play a lot, because there's nobody else quarterbacking that top unit. And Edmonton exclusively runs that top unit out a ton. Like, they're on the ice for as long as humanly possible. So there's some to be there. But if you're betting on him being an 80-plus point player, I got news for you. That's not it.
Now, we talked about Thomas Harley, and you mentioned Heiskanen. Because Heiskanen is like the perfect example of not way better in real life, but definitely better real life defenseman than fantasy defenseman. He's still very good, though. So are we putting him in that seat? He's kind of, to me, like right near Seider. To me, like that's where he kind of belongs.
Yeah. And listen, Miro Heiskanen has never been a guy who scores a ton of goals. In his best year, he scored 11, and that's when he had 73 points. He's cupped out a little bit. Last year, we'll throw it out the door because he was hurt. So he played 50 games, 25 points. I think he's a 50 to 55 point defenseman, which is good. But to me, that's the minimum bar in fantasy. Like, if your defenseman's not hitting 50 points, like they're probably closer to the waiver wire. But again, there are lots of things that he does well as a real life defenseman. But in fantasy perspective, especially if he's got to fight for time with Thomas Harley on that top unit, like that really sets his ceiling low. So he needs to do everything else well. He's not a massive shot guy. He does block shots, but that's not what he's there to do, right? I just think the value on him, depending on where you're getting him, is limited. So if you're paying up for him, you're not going to get what you think you're getting.
So another guy. So let's go on to Jacob Chikrin here, who is I've seen going near Adam Fox in terms of ADP in a lot of the mock drafts I've been doing. We've already talked about Fox's upside. We think he's a huge bounce back candidate. Spoiler alert: he's the guy I'm going to pick for my Norris Trophy pick when we talk about that a little bit later. Is he rounding out the B tier here? Is he maybe above Weegar, above Harley? I don't think I'm necessarily having him lead the C tier here. I think he still belongs at the B tier, but maybe towards the back end.
You can. Here's the thing, though. He scored 20 goals. That is, like, for a defenseman, that is great. The problem is he had 27 assists. And that's considering he sometimes plays on the top unit. Like, John Carlson's still there, and John Carlson still eats into his ice time. And, like, I am old enough to remember when Jacob Chikrin was an absolute just beast with the Arizona Coyotes. Like, we're talking high upside in point. Like, the shot volume and the block shots were just elevated. And you're probably still going to get a little bit of that, but he's topped what, 50 points? Never. Like, 47 was his career high last year. So
So we'll put him in that C tier, and because Carlson kind of cancels him out a little bit, I think they both kind of belong there.
I think he's got a better upside though
Yes.
than Sider, just because like the team is better. Ovi's still there. Like it's real simple, man. Just move the puck over to Ovi. But the 20 goals definitely like that's like he can score goals. That we know. He has finished now with 10 or more goals 4 times in his career. So like he can find the back of the net. He just needs the all-around points, or you're going to need to do everything else that he's done super well his entire career to make it happen, right? You're talking probably 250 shots, 150 block shots, minimum bar.
All right, so we still got we're in this BC mix, but not quite in the CD mix yet. Shea Theodore, how do we feel about him? Top power play unit in Vegas. I almost said Vancouver. They wish. Obviously Vegas is going to be an improved team. Last year, looking up what Shea Theodore did, don't have that open. Excuse me.
He had 57 points
7 and
last
50.
year.
So
7 and 50 and 67.
So kind of like a similar stat line to like a Lane Hudson type. Doesn't necessarily get you the physical categories with the hits, but because of he's going to be in a high octane power play, I'm still willing to have him be in that like last call for B tier kind of spot.
I'm very high on Shea Theodore. He is a player who can contribute offensively. The loss of Pietrangelo doesn't really hurt him. I think that's going to be a committee approach and maybe more of Noah Hannafin's job, right? The only thing that can slow him down is Noah Hannafin. But like Theodore is out there to produce. He 57 and 67 games. So if he plays 82, he's at the 65-point range, which is very, very good for a defenseman. He is going to get the top power play opportunities. You also bring in Mitch Marner. You bring in 100 points. Like that power play can be really, really lethal if everything clicks as it should. But Theodore's going to go out there and really challenge for producing offensively from the back end. That is what I think he can do. He's probably not going to block a whole bunch of shots. He's definitely not throwing his weight around. But the shot volume can be good. The points can be good. A lot of people are going to forget about him, but somebody's got to quarterback that top unit. Somebody's got to do it. And he is a player who can do it. It was a big step for him, right, from previous years in Vegas. But, those years before, injuries, things slowed him down. As long as he's healthy, the opportunity for him to do damage is elevated.
All right. So this is the last guy that I'm going to nominate as a B tier defenseman. And yeah, he's not on a good team, but this was a guy that we were arguing as a top 3 defenseman last year, Roman Josi. I think, he's on a bad team, but he is the guy. He's going to get every opportunity. He's going to play on the top power play unit. He's going to play in the penalty kill. I know it can still be a bad team and score goals. I think that he's still anchoring that to me. Like he's the back end, I would say maybe, if I said Theodore was last call, Yossi's really like, okay, like they're starting to lock the doors here. Like we need to like finish up and get out.
This is a guy who was going closer to the end of first rounds, beginning of second, just like 2 years removed. Like he has had 96 points in a season. The year, like last year was completely an off year. The year before that, he had 85 points, right? 23 of those were goals. The Nashville Predators as a team were just atrocious. They were just so bad. And I don't think they'll be elite, but they certainly can't be that much worse, right? And for Josi, there's a couple of things that work in his favor here. One, nobody's challenging him for his spot. Nobody. There's not a single player on that team that's going to take his spot on the top unit, nor do they want it. Two, like maybe the shot volume is not going to be there. Maybe the block shots are not going to be, but they were so high for such a large period of time. Even if you get a little bit less of that, he also doesn't have to play like 27, 28 minutes a night. Like this is a thing where he's 35, right? But he can still produce. I think he's a great bet. If you're getting him as a second defenseman on your team, like you're fine. You're very much fine. You're going to be okay. He could come way up. He could also, maybe we see another year. Maybe he's falling off the cliff. I don't know. But I would definitely take him.
Out of respect to what his pedigree is and what he's capable of, and because of, like you said, he's the only guy there that's going to get all the top opportunities there in Nashville in terms of a defenseman. he closes out that B tier, but another year like last year, now he's falling into that C tier. So we've got a few guys in that C tier: Chikrin, Sider, Heiskanen, Carlson, who I might move down to the D tier depending upon how things go here. Leading off this C tier, here would be, I have 4 candidates that you can make an argument for over Jacob Chikrin: Mikhail Sergachev, Brandon Montour, Dougie Hamilton if he could stay healthy, and Noah Dobson. So of those 4, who do you think is the bona fide leadoff for the C class, C tier?
I would probably put Sergachev there. He's got the most upside.
I didn't want to say it because I know everybody knows how much I love him, but yes.
Yeah. He can do it. He's a guy, same thing. The guy who blocks a ton of shots, everything. He's won Stanley Cups. He knows how to get it done. If he can stay healthy, this Mammoth team is going to be good. So he's going to be part of that group that just goes out there and just fires the puck. I'm not really worried about Sean Durzi or the rest of the gang kind of eating into that. Like, it's the same thing. It's him, and then it's whoever else is there.
Now, by that logic, a Brandon Montour, I think, would go right behind him, right? Because again, he's the guy. He's the bona fide top defenseman for Seattle.
You can. I just think Seattle is terrible. This is where careers go to die right now. That offense is putrid. I don't know if they're going to score much. He had 41 points last year, right? Which is, by the way, not great. That's just not. It's not great. Listen, if you want to embark on the Brandon Montour train, go ahead. But to me, he probably leads the D category because it's just not there. He's on this Seattle team is bad. And maybe he's just not going to get enough opportunities for it to matter. He had 18 goals though. So it's there. But the problem is the rest of that club can't finish. And they have a whole bunch of just mid players on it.
Not going to be a lot of offense probably with Seattle either, and that's the problem. How many points are you going to get? And he's on the second pairing, whereas Vince Dunn is the top pairing defenseman there. Vince Dunn also leads the power play. Montour, a little bit more of a well-rounded guy. Now, we're talking about Vince Dunn. I assume we're just going to put both of those guys in there in the D tier, and we'll figure out where they fall in a little bit here.
Seattle's the problem. Like, Dunn scored he scored 18, which is more than the year that he had in Florida where he had 16. But the drop-off was an assist. 57 in Florida, 23 in Seattle. The only difference is who can finish. And there's nobody in Seattle that can fly the back of the net, so it doesn't matter.
So, all right. So we're rounding out. And again, there are still quality defensemen left on the table. We're just taking the top 25. Well, 26, because I forgot to count Evan Bouchard in there. So we got 26 there. You get a bonus one. We got 6 to go before we get to the Norris Trophy odds and do our 10-team mock draft here. Dougie Hamilton. He would be, if he could stay healthy, if you could guarantee me his health every year, I'd even put him in the end of that B tier. Because of that, he can't stay healthy. He's got to go in the C tier. It's just a matter of where. You're putting him behind Sergachev, behind Chikrin. I don't know. Your hands are up here.
Howard Bender of Fantasy Alarm always says, right, if my grandma had testicles, she would be my grandfather, right? Like, if he could, if this happened, then this would happen. And that's just, like, if he could stay healthy. But at this point, he's aging. And I think at some point they want Luke Hughes to take over. And they want him to be the next one.
Who's also down here.
Dougie Hamilton is just not, you don't have to run him out there. He hasn't stayed healthy. And the things that he used to do really, really good is just something he's not going to be able to do at a high level, right? The shot volume, the shot blocks. Man, you're reaching at that point if you really want him. You're banking on something that just may never be there again.
But we have them because the Devils do have a potent offense. We talk about Seattle, they don't got offense. Devils have offense. That's, again, a health an issue with the guy who stirs the drink and Jack Hughes. Do we just have Luke Hughes and Dougie Hamilton leave off that D tier for everything you're saying?
Probably, but there's a lot of upside there. I get it. The upside is intriguing. The problem is like you got to really stretch.
And you're still okay with Carlson being here in the C tier if I'm going to put Hamilton in the back end, or should Carlson, another year of age, move him down?
I mean, Carlson, I guess, is starting to become. He's probably going to slow down, and I think he's more. I think if they give Jacob Chikrin more and let Carlson do other things that he does well, then they'll be just fine. But I don't think Carlson is like the guy who's going to go out there, play 25 minutes a night, quarterback to top power play unit, all that stuff. I can see him starting to pull back a little bit here. I would rather have Chikrin over Carlson. I would probably take Dougie Hamilton over Carlson as well, just because the upside for Dougie is there.
All right. I think we're getting a nice picture here. We got 4 guys to go. Noah Dobson. Now, yes, Lane Hudson's going to be running the power play, but Noah Dobson's going to be the all-around heavy minute, guy in Montreal. He's not B tier, but I think he's certainly a C tier guy, and I think he's in that Sergachev Chikrin range here.
I would leave him there. A lot of people talk about, oh, he had a down year, and you're like, sure, he did. He also played in Long Island. So let's keep it a stack there. That team had no offense. And even regardless of what happened last year, the Islanders had one of the worst power plays on the face of the earth, and they were terrible at penalty killing. Their special teams was atrocious. So if you're worried about him, they go, oh, he's not going to get top power play minutes here. It doesn't matter if he gets them in Montreal or not, because he didn't have anything to go off in Long Island, and he still did pretty well. He's a good skater. He can move the puck up ice. You'd also don't have to play him at those ridiculous minutes. You can shelter him a little bit as well. Maybe you let Mike Matheson go out there and take the super hard matchups that he doesn't have to face every night. Get him favorable matchups. Those points will come. Let's not forget as well, there's Cole Caulfield on the ice at some points with him, right? There's going to be Patrick Laine. Ivan Demidov is there. Nick Suzuki you can find back in it as well. He's going to have a lot more options around him for guys who can find the back of the net. I think the upside is there. I just don't know if it's like 70. That's my problem. I think it could fall short, but he'll be a well-rounded defenseman.
And, even though it's a stat we don't love on the show, plus minus should be pretty good in Montreal now that they've revamped and really made their blue line strong. 3 guys to go here. I'm assuming all 3 of these guys are going to go in the D tier here. Charlie McAvoy, Jake Sanderson, and Jackson Lacombe. It's just a matter of where we're putting them. Any of these guys capable of leading off this D tier here? Maybe, Sanderson gets forgotten about a little bit because he is the top dog in Edmonton. Maybe he should be ahead of Carlson.
I don't know what to do with Jake Sanderson. It could be hit. It could be miss. Thomas Chabot is still there.
Okay.
Ottawa had a above average power play. I don't know if they can repeat that.
So we're going to put him, I guess, maybe until Luke Hughes does it. I think you got to put ahead of Luke Hughes until he gets handed that torch. But I guess we'll still put him behind Carlson because Carlson's still kind of lingering there with the Capitals.
Yeah.
Charlie McAvoy, I think, would be, if the Bruins weren't going to be so bad this year, I'd have him in that C tier. But because Boston's going to be terrible, I could make an argument to put him over Carlson. He can lead off the D tier.
I'm not touching him with a 10-foot pole. I want nothing to do with Boston. Their offense is going to be terrible, and I just want nothing to do with it. Their power play, I can't expect it to be good. There's not enough skill on the ice. Once you take David Pastrnak away, then where are the Bruins going to get the rest of their offense from? It's just not a good scenario. And McAvoy on his best day had 56 points. Right? That's his best. He's been trending downwards. He was hurt last year, so we'll give him a pass. But the point totals have been going back. I can't, again, probably a better real life defenseman, right? He can block shots. He can do all that great stuff. But for fantasy wise, if I'm scraping the barrel for points, it's not with McAvoy.
All right, so there we go. And the last defenseman we'll talk about is Jackson Lacombe, who really came on strong in the second half last year, was given the opportunity, and he ran with it. Going to be a better defensively structured team under Joel Quenneville this year, so there's reason to think that he could have even a better point total than last year. Not a drastically higher total, but he should increase. He's on the upswing. He's going to be given every opportunity to continue the role he had. Yes, he's a D-tier defenseman, but to me, I'd probably just kind of put him with that Luke Hughes, Charlie McAvoy, Sanderson kind of in that group right there.
Of the defensemen on that D tier, highest upside goes to Lacombe. Highest upside. If you believe the Ducks are going to be good, then you have to buy into it, right? And it's going to be a question of, how much does Quenneville trust him? He scored 14 goals last year. That is very good for a young defenseman, right? Again, the assists didn't come because nobody could finish. But If we believe that he can take a step and the rest of the team takes a step, then fine.
All right, so I think we got it. I think we did it here. I think we're. Is there anything you'd like me to change, or are we happy with the way everything has settled in with the rankings here?
No.
All right.
That looks fantastic. This is this list is obviously 100% correct. There's no debate.
We got Sherry Radway checking in. You guys suck. Sanderson is way better than D. Again, this is from a fantasy perspective. This is not from a what they do on the ice in terms of wins and losses. This is from a fantasy perspective. But thank you for the feedback. You can tell us we suck. I don't care. It's not the first time, and it won't be the last time.
I think this one is just. I think Sherry's a little trigger because we have Lane Hudson in the B category and then Jake Sanderson in the D. And Ottawa fans keep telling me how much better Jake Sanderson is than Lane Hudson, and we all know that's false. But as long as Thomas Chabot is there, I don't know, man. I'm not buying into it. There were too many good things that happened in Ottawa, and if any of that slips, it's going to affect Jake Anderson. Like, first person is going to affect Jake Anderson.
And that's the thing too. When we're ranking these defensemen, it's not just about what they do in a vacuum. It's about, like you just said, with Thomas Chabot, there is somebody there that has already kind of played that role for Ottawa. And if Sanderson slips up, they're not going to think twice about going. So that's part of it too, is when you're drafting, you obviously you're not trying to draft guys and then drop them. And not that Sanderson will be droppable, but you're trying to get the maximum value out of these guys. And to me, that's a reason to hold back. Now, that's not to say if, Sanderson falls to me in X round or whatever, okay, fine. Yeah, I'm taking. He's not a guy I'm avoiding, but if you're telling me Jackson Lacombe or him, when Jackson Lacombe is clearly going to be the top dog, at least to run the offensive stuff in Anaheim, yeah, no brainer. Now, we talked plenty of blue liners here today. Let's bring up the Norris Trophy odds quick, and we are going to get to Total Hockey Now's 7th mock draft. You know what? How much time are we on the swings here with Yahoo? Because they go every 5 minutes. All right, so we're 6 minutes away. So from the next batch, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do mock draft sign up time here. This is what we're gonna. So let me get that up on the screen here, and then we can talk Norris Trophy odds until we get there. Let's put this up on the screen. We said we're gonna do a 10-teamer. Let's do the drop the. Excuse me, no, I don't want to do a roto. Let's see. Do we have a head-to-head that's 10 teams? Okay, there we go. So we're gonna do power play. Draft 215-8477. Already 2 people in there. Let's see here. 3, 4. I'm going to take that spot right there. I don't know why I did that. Let's do that again. There we go. All right, so that's the room I'm going to be in. Let's get this up on the screen. There, I'm in the 5 spot. It's going to be 215-8477. There's Chris. I'm going to drop the link in the chat if anybody else wants to, including you, Sherry. Love to have you in the mock draft with us. There we go. If you want to take one of those last remaining spots, there's 6. We're going to do 10 teams today. I think next week we'll do a 12 or a 14 teamer. Because we're running a little long today, we'll drop to a 10-team spot. But before we get to the mock draft, let's talk a little Norris Trophy odds. And we've done a lot of defensemen talking today. And yeah, obviously Cale Makar is going to be the odds-on favorite. You may not get a better number on him than plus 135 unless he gets injured and misses some time, because he's absolutely one of those guys that can miss 25 games and still win the award. He's got that potential. We could talk about that. For me, Adam Fox at 18-1 is the pick because he's got the best bounce back candidate for all the reasons we talked about. He's got a legitimate defensive defenseman with Gavrikov on the top pair. The Rangers are going to run him out a ton. Their offense should be in good shape. Plus minus will be better. There's a better, could argue the blue line is at least a little more well-rounded on New York this year. So that would be my pick overall. If you tell me I had to go from the right side, I know Chris is going to take Lane Hudson, so I'm not going to do that. There's really nobody on the right side that would jump out at me. Looking at longer shots here, maybe a Chase Theodore at 70-1. Our Jake Sanderson, our buddy at 71, if you want me to throw that out there. But Theodore would be the longest of shots. Morrissey maybe a 55-1, but that's who I got. What do you got?
Jake Sanderson wins a Norris. I will eat a pickle. I hate pickles. So, listen, this is Cale Makar's trophy to lose. It doesn't really matter. If he gets hurt or something, it's just the league now gives out the award to the defenseman with the most points, basically. So Cale Makar has the best odds of doing that. If it's not him, then I would put my money towards Werenski. I think he could have won it last year if it wasn't for the fact that Cale Makar exists. That's basically it, right? So yeah, Zach Werenski, if he goes on one of those stretch where he starts scoring goals, right? And he probably has to do something absolutely miraculous, right? Like imagine he scores 30, just in any hypothetical situation. Imagine he scores 30 goals. Like it's super hard to look at him and go, no. Even though that's probably not what the Norris Trophy is for, it's going to be really hard to look at him and go, no. And can he do it? I don't know. But if he flirts with it, then he's in that conversation. And again, this is if Cale Makar doesn't exist. Like if he gets hurt or he has a down year and he opens the door for somebody else, then yeah, I think it goes through. Like those odds on Werenski then are pretty good, right? 10-1. I would take.
I would take him before Hughes just because I feel like there's going to be all that underlying, how long is Hughes going to be in Vancouver stuff. So I think that maybe plays into it a little bit there. Erik Karlsson, and you could say, well, Rasmus Dahlin's on a bad team. He doesn't have a chance. But I mean, Erik Karlsson in 2023 was on a bad team and he still won it. Now he had a 101-point season and the Sharks just let him run wild that year. But being on a bad team doesn't preclude you from winning. It certainly helps. It's very rare that it happens. I mean, if Rasmus Dahlin just absolutely goes on a tear this year, but again, for me, even Evan Bouchard, I'd probably consider more than Dahlin. But yeah, for me, it's Adam Fox at 18-1. And if we're talking longer shots, maybe Josh Morrissey in Winnipeg this year. Again, like you said, it's Cale Makar's award to lose because let's face it, as long as he's healthy, he's going to keep winning. And even if he's not healthy, as long as he doesn't miss more than half the season.
Just be there. You know what I mean? Be on the ice. Stay safe.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like Harley and Heiskanen kind of cancel each other out a little bit there. So that's why I wouldn't take one of those guys off that side of the list. But yeah, I mean, we pretty much ran through it here. Now we got draft's going to start here in about a minute and a half before we get into the 10-team mock here. That good news is a full room, so hopefully nobody milks the clock too much. Good news. If you can't make it to church on this weekend, we got God at pick 10. So
there you go.
Word of the Lord is pick 10 today, I guess.
Listen, it's nice to have God here with us today.
I mean, all the places in the universe God could be right now, rocking with us in a 10-teamer. Good for you.
If that doesn't tell you how important it is to mock, then I don't know what will.
5:50 on a Thursday afternoon. College football is kicked off. Baseball games going on. WNBA. Hey, you can do any sport. You got to know. We're mocking here. The draft's now loaded. We're very excited here for mock draft number 7 on Total Hockey Now. If you're just new to the show, we've been doing this all summer long. Basically, once July hits, we do mock drafts all the way into the beginning of October when the fantasy hockey season starts. We love mocky season, and it's one of our favorite things to do. We're getting to it a little bit late today, but hey, we wanted to do some tiers and figured it wouldn't be too long of a Norris Trophy conversation because, again, it's Cale Makar's to lose very much here. We'll get things ready here. 2.5 minutes. 10-teamer here. You are picking right behind me, so the snipe potential is going to be out of control going both ways in the snake draft today. I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm taking Cale Makar if he's there at 5. So is it easy for you to take Pasternak at 6, or maybe you jump on a Rantanen or a Matthews or somebody like that?
I can't seem to get Cale Makar no matter what. I can't seem to get him. It just feels like I have to be in the 4 hole. And I'm not. So I'm trying really hard to get him, but I won't. It's nice of you to tell me in advance. I'll still put him on my I'll still put him in my queue list so I can hear the noise. When you get sniped, it makes that noise. But I mean, listen, there was a time in life where I thought I was able to get Cale Makar and Kirill Kaprizov, and those dreams have died this year because they won't happen.
Yeah, I mean, last year, like we've talked about, that was your build last year, and it's just not possible. Even in an 8-team league, just not possible.
No, that's why you
It's
can't
fine.
use the players from last year this year. And what I mean by that is value, because I think I got Zach Werenski in like the 10th, and now he's going in the second because that's what you know what I mean. Fantasy hockey is about value. That's what you're looking for, right? That's what you're looking for. It's all about value. There's no such thing as a player you can't trade. There's no such thing as a player you can't own, or there's none of that. It's about value. You got to find the value, and then you got to take it, and you got to milk it. You got to get the most out of it.
So I'm picking 5th, and I said I'm taking Makar. Now, granted, maybe the guy picking 4th takes Makar. That leaves me with Kucherov. I think as much as I don't like drafting in the middle of a round, it's just I don't like. I like to have a cluster of picks either at the beginning or the end of the round. I don't love being in the middle, but this year in fantasy, I think that's kind of where you want to be because that's really where you're going to be able to build it out well. And I got to get rid of my sounds here. Let's see if I remember. Oh, yes, got rid of it. Nope, wrong window.
I didn't say anything. I wanted to keep going.
I know you wanted to keep going. Adrian on the clock first here. Now, of course, the only people I know in the room are Chris and myself. If somebody's watching and they're in the room, please identify yourself. Oh, look, it's our buddy Gene. Hey, boys, I'd love to jump in the smock with you, but I have to do the school run. Can't wait to watch the school run. All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be in that picking up my daughter from after school in a little bit myself here. But Adrian's going to be a jerk and take up the full 30 seconds on the first overall pick just to take Connor McDavid. Like, if you're going to milk the clock, can you take, like, Draisaitl or McKinnon? Like, do something like that. Like, come on. Anyway, I digress. All right. So, as expected,
correct. Whoa.
So,
Is
first
Jimmy
3
real?
picks, McKinnon, Draisaitl, you could flip-flop 2-3. I got a decision to make here. Am I passing on Nikita Kucherov for Erik Karlsson? I was not anticipating this.
JT Miller is elite.
Yeah, I can find right wings later. I can't find. I'm going to talk myself in the car passing up. So now Kucherov falls to you, which is not what he takes Kaprizov. Oh, he takes a Russian last name with the letter K, but it is not Nikita Kucherov. I don't know what Michael's doing, but I mean, listen, I know why you did Kaprizov because you want if you can't get one, you're going to get the other, and that's fine.
Did we miss something on JT Miller this summer? Is he a 100-point player now? I know he throws his weight around. I know that. Like, he's one of those players who hits more and can rack up points, but did I miss something?
3rd, 4th round, sure, for JT Miller, not 4th overall. And there, David Pastrnak, Connor Hellebuck, and we're going to round out, we're going to close out round 1 here. So the picks are McDavid, McKinnon, Leon Draisaitl, JT Miller, Cale Makar, I took, Kirill Kaprizov, Chris took, and Kucherov at 7, Pastrnak at 8, Hellebuck at 9. And hey, the pick we've all been waiting for. I don't even know if he talked about it in scriptures, but God. So he's going to go pick 10 and pick 11 here, or she. If you saw Dogma, it could be a she. It was Alanis Morissette in that movie.
I want to see what God's going to take. I want to know what his.
I mean, Matthews got to be the pick there at 10, and then to me, you pair it with a Hughes, a Matthews Hughes and a 10-teamer. Certainly can't go wrong there.
Now you're starting to cook at that range. You know what I mean? Now you're starting to cook.
All right, so we open up round 2. I still can't. The JT Miller thing threw me off. I mean, I ended up taking the guy I was going to take anyway, but you really like 87 assists projected according for projection for Kucherov in Tampa this year. So I had to think about it, but there we go. So Matthews Rantanen and Matthews Hughes. Either way, I'm okay with that build there. And there goes Brady Tkachuk for Connor Hellebuck, getting an across the board category guy there. There goes Quinn Hughes. So Pastrnak Hughes at pick 5, 6, 7, 8 off the turf. In your first 2 at pick an 8. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
You're pretty happy with that. So Kucherov here on the clock. I will see what direction he goes. Chris is 2 picks away. I'm 1 pick away. The sniping possibilities are going to be endless here, especially once we get into like those like late single digit, early double digit rounds. That's where Chris and I are going to start pissing each other off a lot. It's going to happen. So there goes Kyle Connor. So there you go. Kucherov, Connor pairing on the wing. Not a bad way to go. Chris, I have a feeling I know he's going to take here. Again, 10-team league. You get some pretty good teams there. Oh, you take Nylander. I for sure thought you were taking your boy Eichel.
A lot of drafts have gone like that. If you go back and just watch these mocks in order, it's usually Kaprizov and Eichel. So I was like, maybe I do something just a little bit different today.
Now,
But Eichel would have been a great pick, by the way. Just I swear.
I mean, I'm going to take him, and my only hesitation and there's nothing wrong with getting Jack Eichel at pick 26, is this centers are so deep, especially in a 10-team league, that you really want to fill up your blue line and your wings first, but I just can't pass a Jack Eichel there. Jimmy making a mock of the system here. Tom Wilson round 2. So we got we got a rabble rouser here, folks, at pick 4. JT Miller, Tom Wilson, your first 2 picks. There goes Mitch Marner. So Draisaitl, Marner.
Does Jimmy work at ESPN? Maybe that's where maybe that's the rankings he's using. Is he using last year's rankings?
Oh no, I don't know what rankings he's using, but in no rankings should both JT Miller.
I'm not more interested in who he's going to take in the third here. I want to know what play. Like, does this league count hits? He's going to win the hit category every week, though. There's no question.
Ant Rivera checking in on us, and yes, he hit the nail on the head here.
Yes.
Dude, he took Tom Wilson pick 2, so that's going to be the sub story. The other storyline, like you watch a sitcom, you got the A storyline, the B storyline. The B storyline is going to be what Jimmy's doing here. JT Miller, Tom Wilson. So there goes McDavid, Ottinger, Werenski, and a 10-teamer to start your first 3. You hitting all the levels there. There goes Sam Reinert. So McKinnon, Reinert, Vasilevsky from Mike. Danny on the clock now. We got Matthew Tkachuk, Braden Point, Mackenzie Blackwood, Bouchard. All these people available here. And Yahoo finally has got ADPs up in the last week. They now have enough data to do that. So now you can sort by that. With Danny looking to see what he does. He takes Jack Hughes with Marner and Draisaitl. Mackenzie Weegar, we talked about him being an undervalued fantasy defenseman because of what he gets you across the board. And
he's going for the hits though. Again, I think I found Jimmy's strategy here.
I mean, listen, there are other defensemen you could take besides Weegar there, but why not? All right, so it's a 10-team league. It's gonna be plenty of forwards available. I'm going defenseman. 2 out of my first 3 picks: Makar, Bouchard. You got to start 4, and I'm confident I could get a strong goalie. Waiting a little bit, I can get. There's still quality wings out there. I don't mind that. Now maybe I could sit back off the blue line a little bit there. Jimmy is banned from our official fantasy draft. I will not allow this debauchery.
Oh, I would invite Jimmy. On the absolute contrary.
Give me a patsy. I don't care. That's fine. You can win hits every week. Good for you.
Jimmy's getting a personal invite from me.
Chris takes Igor Shesterkin, who we'll talk about goalies at a future show, but that's another bounce back candidate there. There goes Matthew Tkachuk, Braden Point, Sidney Crosby, as we're about to close out round 10. And our it doesn't matter who your god is. He's here or she's here, and she's getting ready to make her 3rd round pick and her 4th round and the 4th.
Sidney Crosby continuing to go super early in drafts, and I love it.
He's, to me, like he's still capable of being a 35-35 or maybe even a 40-35 kind of guy, because he's going to be the only source of that Pittsburgh offense. But yeah, I don't mind Crosby at the end of the 3rd round. I wouldn't take him sooner than that, but sure, why not? Mackenzie Blackwood to close out round 3 and pick 30, and we'll see what the opening pick of round 4 is going to be here.
What a turnaround for Mackenzie Blackwood in his career.
The guy opened the season splitting with Vitek Vanacek in San Jose and finished in Colorado. It's a pretty good upgrade. Going
undrafted in most leagues, and all of a sudden he's now top 5 goalie in fantasy.
Now there goes Panarin to open up round 4, pick 41. Here's a guy that maybe I could have considered at my pick there, along with Tkachuk if I wanted to go on the wing, but I don't know. I like overloading that blue line a little bit here. Jason Robertson goes to Alex M at pick 42. Liam, whose last 2 picks were Quinn Hughes and Braden Point. We'll see how he's going to go here. As Chris is 2 picks away, I'm 3 picks away. There goes Gensel and Forsberg. I know who you're taking without even looking at it, because I looked at him and he's not going to make it. Oh, you take Rasmus Dahlin. I am surprised.
I need a defenseman.
Well, this would have been a snipe pick had it been the other way, but I'm not going to wait anymore getting my first winger, Matt Boldy. Sorry, they got to see him go, but there's no way I can let him go past there. There goes Moritz Seider. So again, he's going after hits. Our buddy Jimmy.
He's going after hits here. This team is stacked on the hits and block shots.
That's fine. That's one way to go back. There's Tim Stutzel. Victor Hedman, who went a little bit late, probably went, with factoring Jimmy in aside, went about where he expected. There goes Macklin Celebrini, pick 410. And then Ovechkin to open up around 5. Josh Morrissey, another strong defensive pick there. And Danny back on the clock here. There goes Lane Hudson. Oh, I don't know if he was getting back to you. Vinny Trocheck. This guy's got to be a Ranger fan. And I get it. He wins faceoff, he's hits and all that. But come on, man. It's a little much. Let's see here. So, all right. I could snipe you on one guy, but I'd rather take this guy because he's got wing eligibility. Mr. Tage Thompson. I'm very big on him. 5th round is exactly where he should be going. He was not going to be waiting for me if I tried to wait for the 6th round. Other guy I was considering there was Nick Suzuki. But
I had him queued up, so I will take Nick then.
Now remember, I did you a solid there. I could have taken Suzuki, probably a slightly better pick there if he's available. But I already had Eichel.
I wanted Tage Thompson though.
Oh, okay. So my intention was to not screw you, and I ended up screwing you by not trying to screw.
I wanted the upside there. Tage Thompson's got the wing eligibility. He can score 40.
There goes Adam Fox. So Adam Fox, Bedard, Barkov, Gustafson, the last 4 picks as we close round 5. Gustafson opens round 6. So yeah, Bedard, and I never thought I'd see Tage Thompson and Bedard usually go right near each other. Never thought I'd see Bedard going as late as the 5th round. This could be the last time in his career for probably the next 10 years that he's going this late in drafts.
I think he's a good candidate for a bounce back.
Oh hell yeah! There goes Robert Thomas. Adrian Kempe, damn it. I know I like Kempe.
There we go. This is the last time they sit us next to each other.
All right. Now, I'd love to go Clayton Keller here, but I feel like goalies, if I don't take Sorokin here, I'm probably going to regret it. Let me get my top goalie off the board. Talk about bounce back candidates. Ilya Sorokin. Absolutely. I think he gets closer to his form from 2 to 3 years ago versus last year. There goes Charlie McAvoy again. So, Jimmy, please, if you happen to catch this either live or maybe you're perusing around YouTube later on, just shoot us an email, please. Total Hockey Now, Jim. We want to know what you were thinking here in this mock draft, 6 o'clock Eastern time, approximately on August 28th. Appreciate you being a part of it. Always nice to have a full room and not have a bunch of bots in here. No offense to the bots. After McAvoy, Clayton Keller, who I was taking. Barty Natras is a sneaky picker in this range too. That, think about what Rantanen did on that top line. He's not Mikko Rantanen, but he's playing with the guys that Rantanen played with. So Natras is certainly a sneaky guy to get in that, 6th, maybe even 7th round range. But you're probably waiting a little too long if you get deep in the 7th round. Broski opens round 7. Shea Theodore goes. Elias Pettersson goes there. Jimmy. Let's see what Jimmy does.
Jimmy must have been so mad that he couldn't get. Oh, well, Elias Pettersson doesn't hit anybody, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, knowing who's on the board right now, Wyatt Johnson. All right, so now he's actually starting to take some guys that play. Looking at my team here.
Interesting.
I'm sorry to do it.
That's where I thought you were going to go.
I needed. Listen, I wanted another guy that could play the wing, and that's certainly pick 7-5 is not a bad place to get Cole Caulfield.
Yeah, well,
sorry, buddy. Well, you took Kempe from me, so because of Kempe gets the hits in a banger league. I mean, he's just
I'll take a defenseman.
Get your guy Roman Josi there. Dustin Wolf goes right after him, pick 67, or excuse me, 67. And then, we'll see what Liam does here. He took Hintz and Fox with his last 2 picks. Been a fun mock draft. Having a good time here. Not quite at the halfway point yet. Almost there. Dustin, well, so round 7 here. We haven't had any strong runs on positions there. Because a lot of these guys are center and wing combos. There goes Lucas Raymond, Thomas Harley, and Jacob Chikrin. Close out round 7. We open up round 8 with Jordan Kyrou. Certainly not a bad pick there. Guy's going to get a ton of goals on the right wing. See if Alex M goes defenseman again. There's still some quality centers here, but again, this is where you want to start maybe getting some of those wings because the wings are going to thin out before the centers. Bro, there go Jake Sanderson. Shout out Sherry.
Yahoo, listen, Yahoo's projections, we take them with a grain of salt sometimes, but he was projected to have 55 points. So even Yahoo's coming down to reality a little bit.
3 goalies in the last 8 picks, a little bit of a mini run there. Nico Hischier, certainly a great way to go there, pick 8-5. I'm back on the clock now here. A lot of ways I can go. All right. I haven't been taking him in a lot of drafts, but give me Dylan Larkin.
Oh, okay.
You know, I know we're not. Oh, Hurdle goes there too. That's a way I could have gone. I don't. And here's the thing. I'm not big on the Red Wings, but Dylan Larkin is just. He's the guy there. He's the driving force. And yeah, to me, he was the best available there. You know, when you took Hischier, I was kind of hoping he would get one more pick there, and I could have gone Hurdle. I could have gone Mishkov, but I'll take Dylan Larkin at pick 76.
Someone's got to score in Detroit. The Iser plan's got to go some way.
Yes, Lucas Raymond's certainly going to get some of those goals too, and DeBrincat as well. Those guys all kind of go within the Detroit Red Wings top line. All kind of goes depending on your format in that 7th, 8th round range. So Nikolai Ehlers, who's another guy I was considering there, but I don't know. I'm trying to take guys that I don't normally take a whole lot of, and Ehlers is a guy that I do draft a fair amount of. So I'm trying to zag where I would zig normally. You know, again, true of, you know, other than McCarr, kind of, and Thompson, pretty much true of everyone I'm taking. Sorokin's a guy I try to, he's like that, like, okay, I want to get him before I start getting to the Darcy Kempers of the world. As big as I was on Darcy Kemper last season, gonna have some regression this year. Just with the numbers he put up last year, it's tough to believe he would do anything close to that 2 years in a row. I'm 2 picks away here as Yuri Slafkovsky. Seth Jarvis open up the 9th round as the first 2 picks there. Hughes first, and then Pierre-Luc Dubois. All right, so I'm gonna look at defensemen here. Not trying to purposely snipe you. But Noah Dobson, I'm gonna go for that all-around factor and get that. There's another defenseman I'd consider there too, but I don't know. Again, trying to take people I don't normally take. Chris loves the Kings today. He takes Kempe and Fiala. There goes Dougie Hamilton. So we're moving along here. Past the halfway point of this 10-team mock draft on Total Hockey Now. Mock draft number 7 of the summer. Sizzling number 7. We go through the 9th round here. We are up to pick 80. Pick 89 was Dougie Hamilton. Excuse me, that's his expert rank. He just went. Right, but there's Thatcher Demko. So I may have to look at goalies here coming back. There goes Konechny, Brandon Montour to open up round 10. Mika Zibanejad, that's a little early for Zibanejad. Usually could get him in those mid-teen rounds, I would say. Demko probably a little bit early on him in the 9th round because of the injury stuff. Chris is 3 picks away. I'm 4 picks away. I got to start getting ready for what I want to do here.
I feel comfortable with my next selection.
If you get him. If you get him. 2 picks away.
If I get him, yes.
There's 2 guys I've got my eye on. 3 guys I've got my eye on. There goes Jordan Binnington, Miro Heiskanen. So did either of your guys get taken? Yeah, you did it back to me.
I was looking.
I know you were aiming for that. Now listen, we're going by rank. Do I want to go? I kind of want to go goalie here, but my weight is the question. Not real. No, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm gonna. You know what? Give me Logan Thompson. There goes Darcy Kemper. So I'm glad I took a goaltender because I knew one was going. Trying to I predict some regression for Kemper. I still think he'll be a good serviceable goalie, but I'd rather get Logan Thompson and aim to get Charlie Lindgren, have that handcuff. No, I have one of the better teams in the Metropolitan Division. I have their goalie handcuff to go along with Ilya Sorokin. Sometimes people don't want to do the same goalies within the division. I'm not as anal about that as some other people. Damn, Seth Jones went. I mean, I'm pretty stacked on the line, so I can't complain. Sebastian Aho has just been sitting there that whole time.
That was my next pick. Did Sebastian Aho die over the summer? Like what happened?
And I almost took him where Dobson went, but I would rather.
He's been all over the place because he got terrible value to start and then gets absolutely incredible value in the 11th on Sebastian Aho. That is criminal.
I know Tavares is out there, but I want to kind of ride Austin Matthews' coattails a little bit, get some hits with Matthew Nyes. I'll take that. Plus, I wanted another left wing guy.
I'm not going to wait for a goalie any longer. So we'll start with
Stolars, and oh, there
Stolar.
goes Jackson Lacombe, Drake
There goes
Batherson. All right,
Tom.
so there goes Tavares, Zane Parik, Neil Pionk. So 3 straight defensemen for God, and then it takes Jacob Chikrin earlier. So God's got the 4 defensemen locked in there. Sam Montembeau, Shane Gostisbehere, Eric Carlson, Chris Quickly back on the clock here, halfway through the 12th round.
He can still produce, I think, in Calgary. It's decent as a depth spot. I'll take him here. Kadri's sitting around.
We know how much I love my wings, and this is a guy I've been trying to, or how much I value you loading up your wings as much as you can. Give me JJ Peterka out in Utah. I think they're gonna, he's gonna get I think he's due for a big year with the Mammoth. There goes Swayman and Saros. So the tail end of the goalie, goalie 2s are going here as well. We get to the end of the 12th round, and we got 4 rounds to go here. So this is where your depth is important. This is where we're filling out rosters here.
Trying to find some.
Darnell Nurse, Drew Doughty. I anticipate a defenseman run coming soon. If you look at the board here, a lot of green in these last 3 rounds. It's eyeballing, and it's about half green.
Defensemen tend to go a little bit later, so
especially in a 10-teamer, because people feel like they can wait. They can get that 3rd or 4th defenseman, and it's it's there for you. There goes Stuart Skinner. So Danny's got his Swayman Skinner goalie combination there. I don't know about waiting that long. Gabriel Landeskog goes, another guy that probably could have waited on. Here I am on the clock.
Ton of hits.
Let's see here. I don't want to wait because of that run on defenseman there. I don't want to wait any longer. Devin Taves. No, I don't want to compare him with shit. Forgot I had Makar. I can't do it. I'm gonna get auto picked. And I get Devin Taves anyway. You know what? I don't mind the Avalanche blue line stack. You can get away with it with having 2 guys on the same team. Because Colorado's good enough that I'm going to play both of those guys when they're playing anyway. So I guess my knee-jerk instinct is right, and I shouldn't have got away from it. And the auto pick worked in my favor for once. There we go, round 14. After me taking auto picked with Taves, Timo Meier, Brock Nelson, Nikishin, Colton Parayko, Dylan Strome, Brian Russ, Tuck, Shane Hyman. Okay, it's a good pick there by Hyman, and I'm back on the clock as quickly as I was off of it.
I'm hoping his wrist will heal. I know those wrist injuries for players are just brutal, but the good news for Hyman is he doesn't really shoot the puck. He just deflects in front of the net. So all his goals are within 3 feet of the blue paint. So
I know Sam Bennett's still out there, but yeah, no, I got to take Sam Bennett. He's the second line center on one of the best teams in hockey. He's a guy I haven't been taking a lot of. Nothing against him. It's just I thought the price, I was anticipating the Conn Smythe winner's price would be a little bit high. We're not really seeing that. We're not really seeing an inflated Bennett price. You're getting him at a fair spot. Logan Cooley was somebody else I considered. He goes 2 picks later as we're wrapping up round 14 here. You happy with your team so far?
I think I've done pretty well. I think it's been the damn Jacob Trouba living.
Listen, Jimmy's going for hits. We know that. Jimmy is going to have every hit available in his league.
He is definitely he's definitely up there.
All right, so 2 picks till my turn. Logan Stankoven and Andrei Svechnikov back-to-back. Hurricanes, Gabe Velarde, Brad Marchand. Now, the way I build my teams, I've only got 2 picks left, so I look at defenseman or goalie here. I'm going to roll the dice on goalie. I am a big Cam Fowler guy in St. Louis. He really came on last year at the end. I know I'm trying to take guys I can avoid, but as my bench defenseman, I cannot ignore that. So and then Joel Eriksson Ek was the guy I was considering instead of Sam Bennett. Chris takes him there. I didn't want to double up with Boldy. Jonathan Marchessault, Mason McTavish, good pick there in the 15th round. Gustav Forsling, certainly a strong late round defensive pick there. Pavel Buchnevich, guy plays all 3 wing positions. So again, you get to this point in the draft, those position versatility matters. Kochetkov, Jenner, Vetrano, Joey Decord, Chris coming up on his last pick, and he takes Zeev Boyum. And now I could go with a handcuff. I could just take Charlie Lindgren like I said I was going to and just have both Capitals goalies. But there's still some starters sitting out there. No, I'm not going to take Jet. Well, I mean, you don't have a pick anyway, so it's not like I can steal Jet Grease from you. I am big on Lucas Dostal this year. And as a third goalie, I'd rather have him than the handcuff. In a 10-team league, I know I can probably get Charlie Lindgren if I really need to on a whim. So I'll take Dostal and be happy with having my third goalie there. And yeah, we're about to wrap it up. There goes Jamie Benn. So again, just going after those gritty categories there.
I would have taken Jet Greaves if I didn't take Shesterkin so early. I feel like with Stolars, I could live with it.
Yeah. Listen, even if Stolars is on a split, you're okay. You got Shesterkin, who's going to be a workhorse. Now, let's run through this draft here. We usually go through one other person's draft. Let's go through God's draft. You get an opportunity to really go through such a high beings draft. We should really take full advantage of that. Austin Matthews, Rantanen pairing. We talked about strong way to go there. I would have gone Quinn Hughes instead of Rantanen, but it's, I'm not going to fault one way or the other there. Anchors the goaltending with Mackenzie Blackwood. I know it was close to a goalie share. He had the edge. Colorado might play him a little bit more this year. So off to a strong start there and gets Panarin on the turn. And Barkov. So a Matthews Barkov top two centers, a Blackwood Gustafson goalie pairing. Certainly not a bad way to go there. Jacob Chikrin, he's the first defenseman in the draft. God waits till the 7th round. Not something I would recommend, but with the picks he made, and again, a 10-team league, you get away with that a little bit more. It's fine. Jordan Kyrou in round 8, Konechny in round 9. He kind of gets forgotten about. He's certainly a guy that, like, if you've waited on wing, get to that, 9th round in the draft, 10th round even, 8th round maybe in deeper leagues, like he's fine. Brandon Montour, Parik, and Pionk to round out the blue line there. So Chikrin and Montour are a little bit of a similar player there. We'll see what we get out of Parik, and Pionk is just going to be a hit machine. Dylan Strome, Brian Russ, Pavel Buchnevich, Kochetkov. Don't love the back end of the draft here, but hey, I'm not the almighty, so who am I to criticize there? Any thoughts on God's draft, Chris?
Great build. Really, you would expect nothing less from God, obviously.
Of course.
You'd expect absolute perfection. It's not perfect, but it is definitely very, very good. That is a very good stacked team. Good goaltending, good offensive players. The defense has upside. Just he's hit every category. And that's what you want to see out of a team. And
listen, I know Kochetkov did not have a good second half of the season, but last year, I think they went in with the approach where Anderson's the starter, Kochetkov's the backup. We all know Freddie Anderson's health issues. I think they understand this year not to officially call Freddie Anderson the backup, but I think they're going to approach Kochetkov as they're going to try and get him to be that 1A, and Anderson, they'll strategically start him. So I don't mind as a third goalie. Now, Chris and I were picking 5th and 6th here. So rather than us individually go through our teams, we'll go round by round here just to kind of talk about our mindset in the picks there. Obviously, I said I was taking Makar, no doubt about it. Chris has made his Kaprizov love known. He talked about with Nylander how he could have gone Eichel, but was trying to do something different. I was taking one of those two guys there either way, so worked out. I go defense heavy, Bouchard with my pick there. Again, figuring let me anchor those top 2 spots. Yes, you can wait on blue liners in a 10-team league, or you can get 2 of the best ones early and then wait a long time before you look at it again. That's what I did. And then you took the goaltender there, Shesterkin. You got, guy who might finish as the second best fantasy goalie this year if Hellebuck, relinquishes the top spot, maybe even top spot.
I wanted Bouchard there. That's where I was starting. That's where I was going. I started to see some of the big boys go off the map, and I was like, okay, maybe this is where it is. But you took Bouchard, so I was like, hey, I'll take a goalie. I said, I feel like I can get a top goalie here, and I was like, I can deal with my defense later. And that's exactly what I did. I took Igor, and then there was, after Blackwood there from God, there's kind of like a point, the middle area where goalies didn't really go. So I felt like I did good there, taking Igor early.
And then you missed out on Bouchard. Certainly Rasmus Dahlin's not a bad parting gift, as they would say on a gift show, a game show, if you lost, excuse me. So you get to your top defenseman there. Matt Boldy, listen, he's a key part of that offense too. Yes, it's Kaprizov, but I needed to go wing there. And then on the turn, you can't wait any longer than Tage Thompson. Frankly, if Jimmy had drafted a team in a normal fashion, Tage Thompson in a 10-team draft, probably not there for me in the 5th round, the middle of it. But again, it was going to take Suzuki or Thompson. Same thing for Chris there. He was hoping for Thompson. He got Suzuki, not the worst silver medal there.
No, listen, if you can get a player who can average a point per game, in the 5th round, I think that's great value.
Then you turn around in round 6, get Kempe. We talked about, in a Bangor league, he scores, he gets hits, he's on the Kings top line, he's one of their best producers. Certain nothing wrong there. I didn't want to wait any longer on goalie because once you get to this Sorokin Bobrovsky, I think Dustin Wolf is going to be a fantastic goalie in his career. I think he's going a little too high in drafts right now. Again, Calgary, as strong as he was, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is the goalie that comes out of nowhere and ends up finishing 3rd in Vezina voting, for all I know. But I think he's just going a little too high. But especially with like a Logan Thompson on the board, So for me, I grab Sorokin there. Coming around again, I only have one guy. I have 2 wing eligible players at this point, and centers deep, so I go Cole Caulfield. Not trying to spite Chris. I just think that was the right pick there. And listen, I know Yossi's taking a step back, but Darlene Yossi is a 1-2.
Guys who can shoot the puck, guys who can block shots, guys who can rack up points. Not too shabby, if I don't say so myself.
Then we got Larkin, and he takes Nico Hischier there, who for some reason I feel like he should be going a little bit earlier than he is. So take advantage of that value if you're doing your drafts this early. Get him in the 8th round there, because I was taking him if he didn't, and he kind of threw me for a little bit of a mind fuck there. So I take Dylan Larkin. Certainly not a bad silver medal there. Not a bad if I'm not taking Hischier. Coming back around, again, Noah Dobson. Yes, Lane Hudson's going to be like the guy that drives the power play, but Dobson's going to still be, a key top pairing, play in many situations kind of guy there. So, and as a 3rd defenseman, I'm very happy to get him there. Take Kevin Fiala the pick after me.
I feel like Kevin Fiala, I'm okay with where he was. I'd like to see more points out of him. I'd like to see him flirt with the 60 plus, but I think he's like the shot volume's still pretty good. I still think the Kings can generate offense. I'm okay with it. I was really happy with the Mikhail Sergachev pick, though.
I was considering Sergachev instead of Dobson, but I said I got to take Dobson over him. If you hadn't taken him, I would have just taken my 4th defenseman and done there.
No, he was not coming around. We had spoken about him, and I was like, you know what? Mikhail Sergachev's floor is pretty good on a really good team. That's gonna, we'll see if they're good defensively, but at least Utah is going to want to score goals, and Sergachev's going to be part of it.
Now, I did wait a little bit to get Sorokin. Once I see Hill, Markstrom, I saw Demko go. Once Bennington went, that was my cue. Okay, if Sergachev's not there, I got to take Thompson or Kemper. And when Thompson was there, that was the guy. Kemper goes 1 pick later. Then turning around, trying to ride some of that Austin Matthews point share with Matthew Nyes. Also gets a ton of hits. So, again, it needed a left wing there. Why not? And then you get Stolars as your goalie, too, behind Igor Shesterkin. Certainly a strong goalie, too.
Strong goalie there. If we believe the Leafs are going to be good as well, then we believe Stolars is going to play. Health is always the number one thing, but in a 10-team league, I still feel like if he goes down, I can forget Joseph Wall. I can just plug him in. So I was more than happy going that route, especially in the 11th round, getting a starter. I was good with it.
Now you'll see there's a lot of green here, but what you don't see is a lot of red and orange past round 11. So you come back with Kadri, strong center pick, across the board guy. JJ Peterka. I'm very bullish on him this year. And I'm kind of glad, again, because you saw the wings kind of start to dry up here. Then you get into the, Marchenko, I'm certainly happy with. Timo Meyer, I'm snake bitten on. So like Peterka is kind of like that last call. Hyman also, I would also consider too. I consider taking Hyman maybe instead of Taves. Had he been there when I had taken Bennett, maybe I would have taken him instead, but you take Hyman there. So yeah, I get Peterka. I get auto picked on Taves, which is who I was going to pick. Then I 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th guess to myself and get him anyway. You're kind of you've taken Timo Meyer in a couple of drafts here. You're betting on a bounce back from.
I'm grasping for. I know he'll never be the player he was in San Jose, which is unfortunate because he left San Jose, went to a team that is definitely high octane offense, and it just hasn't translated yet. But the scoring and the shots are there. I just feel like he's a complimentary player now. And unfortunately, that's probably going to put him at a 60-point range. But he can be a 30-30 guy who throws his weight around and takes 275 shots, which is not terrible in the 13th round. And then with Zach Hyman, it's kind of like, I don't think he's a 54 goal scorer, but again, if he's going to play on the top line with McDavid and or Draisaitl, he's going to be in the front of the net on the power play. Like he's just there. We'll see how his wrist heals. It looks like he's going to be ready, but wrist injuries for players, man, are just really tough. It sucks the life out of your power and everything. But like I said, the good news is with Hyman is he scores all his goals from 5 feet inside of the crease. So I don't have to worry about his, 15-foot wrist shot, just tap him in.
Can you play with a wrist injury depending upon what it is? Sure, but you are not I played through a broken wrist for 2 months, but the catch was I can't take a slap shot. Like it's not happening. It's just like everything's going to be wrist. There's going to be I couldn't handle it. We got 40 seconds before we lose the window here, so you get Meyer, Hyman there. I love that. Hyman is a late round steal. Bennett, if you're getting him this late in drafts, absolutely. But just if you get somebody that comes in and wants to pay a Conn Smythe premium on him, that's not what I'm about. Yeah. Cam Fowler, I spoke about before. I love him there. Him or Forsling as your fourth or even your top bench defenseman. That's what I'm aiming for. And then Dostal, I talked about why I took him instead of Lindgren, handcuffed there because I am a big believer on him. And you close out with a couple of Minnesota Wild there and Joel Eriksson Ek, which is a great late round pick, and Zeev Boyum.
I'm just trying to find some value there in Minnesota. It seems like I found it, or at least I hope I did. At least I hope I found it. Joel Eriksson Ek is going to get that. There's no other center in Minnesota, so he's going to play with Kirill Kaprizov, who I own. And Boyum, I feel like I don't know if they're just going to give the top power play job to Brock Besser. Sorry, not Brock Besser.
Brock Faber.
Brock Faber. Thinking of Brock Besser. I don't feel like they're going to give it to Faber right off the rip. Or maybe like the year that he had was not that great enough, and they at least have a little bit of competition. I just feel like Boyum can take it, and if he can get if he can flirt with 45 points, I'm like, all right, it's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible.
To me, in that situation, you let Faber have it as the incumbent, but I mean, he's no fool. He knows who's in the blue line there. He knows if he's not performing, it's going to be taken. But I think it's easier to do that and then go to Boyum. And then it's not working out. And now Faber's confidence is already shot because he didn't get the gig. And now, sometimes guys take that as motivation, chip on their shoulder. But to me, I'd rather go with the guy who had it last year, even if he didn't do the best with it. Give him a chance. He's a young defenseman. That's the thing we forget about
still kids, yeah.
Defensemen take time. Matvei Mishkov can come, and I know he's playing with men over in the KHL, but he can come over and have an impact year one. As a forward, it is way easier to have a massive. And even though he had a strong rookie year, Faber, that people are like, oh, maybe he should get it over Bedard. No, he shouldn't have. No. But the fact that you're even having that conversation speaks volumes. Yeah. But the sophomore slump for a defenseman is not uncommon. So that's why, to me, let Faber have it, and then you see.
No, I 100% agree with you.
Now, before we go, we talked about, Timo Meyer's, not being as good as a Shark. I just knew I had this card out. Look at that. Future icons, Timo Meier, Tomas Hertl. Talk about, going back in the memory bin there for the San Jose Sharks. Number 210 out of 399.
What a time that was, for the San Jose Sharks. I mean, the rebuild is happening.
It's going well.
Yeah, I think so. Listen, the vibes are high, though, at least there. The vibes are high.
Listen, this is all you need to know. Right now, I have tickets for 6 San Jose Sharks games in pocket, and we'll probably add 2 more. So I plan on going to a fifth of the home schedule this year, and I have no delusions of a playoff berth. But I think it'll be fun.
6 tickets, you said? 6 with a total with a 6 games, and then a possible of 8.
It's not possible. So what they did last year is so I do the flex plan with the Sharks. I can't commit to a quarter season plans. They lock the games in. I want to cherry pick because of my schedule and everything. And I also have a 2-hour drive. So, I'd like to avoid driving home 2 hours at 10:30 at night from San Jose if I could avoid it. So I picked the 6 games. Then last year in season, if you bought like X amount of games again as a flex plan holder, you got like a free gift. So I'm like, I'm on to you this year. I'm not going to buy all the games up front. I'm going to buy like the games in the first 2/3 of the season, and I'll wait till you run a promotion. And then I'll add those, you know, because those games I'm considering are late February and then March. So like, and it's a weird, because of the Olympic break, the Sharks they have a home game, I think, Friday, that's January 23rd against the Rangers, and then their next home game is not until like February 26th or something crazy like that because of the break.
All that probably for the cool price of like $200. What a time to be alive. Whereas here in Montreal for $200, you can get parking, probably two hot dogs, the steam version, a slice of pizza, fountain drink, maybe, no fries.
Here's the thing I'm actually most excited about for this season, and maybe you can relate. You ever look at an arena and the way some of them are built? Sometimes you'll occasionally find that row that just has one seat. It's a one-seat row. Sometimes in the corners, the way that seats are tapered. I was able to get that for a game this year. There's a random Monday game against the Utah Mammoth, and I have this thing where I have to see either expansion teams or new jerseys in their first year. So new logo this year, I want to go see it. There's a random Monday they're playing the Utah Mammoth, and I said it to my rep, if you can get me one of those single row, because I knew nobody was going to drive down with me on a Monday night, get me one of those single row to watch Utah, not even to like watch McDavid or even like, like a big high profile teams in town like the Leafs. No, Utah Mammoth. So I got one of those single row seats this year. I cannot tell you how excited I am for December 1st.
Damn. Look at that. Listen, we can see the excitement on your face. We can see the excitement. Listen, that's how you know you're a hockey fan. You are just primed for a December 1st Monday game featuring the San Jose Sharks and the Utah Mammoth. Like, that's how you know you're a hockey fan. That's how you know. People even always say, like, how do you describe it? That's literally it.
Even with my lead foot, I will not walk in the door before midnight that night. Even with how fast I drive on, going up I-880 over there.
Allegedly lead foot. Right.
I don't know what Carl. I don't know which Carl will take that night. Whichever one is more conspicuous. But so here we go. So there we go. That's mock draft 7. We talked Norris Trophy odds. We ranked our defensemen here. Next week, what we're gonna do? We're gonna have a little fun. We're gonna talk center tiers and do a 12-team mock. So that'll be fun. Hopefully, Anthony's back for that. Please check out his Subway to Shea podcast at Subway to Shea. Slapshot podcast still in the off season, but we're slowly getting close to coming live again.
We're slowly listen, there are things that are working on this side, right? Some stuff over the fantasy alarm, some busts, some sleepers, some rankings of what I think. That's all coming up soon here. So once that starts to drop, then we get to talk poorly about the Ottawa Senators and Jake Sanderson and the Leafs and Buffalo, of course. Shout out Sherry. Yeah. Somewhere I was reading something where somebody thought the Montreal Canadiens would be last in the Atlantic and that Buffalo would have more points. And I was like, man, I can't wait to start bookmarking some stuff and getting some people riled up here. You know what I mean? I haven't caused any chaos. I've been good.
Now, we will be causing chaos over on Rip and Riff because Rip and Riff returns on Monday, Labor Day here in the United States. Jared and I are a football and hockey guys, so we kind of run Rip and Riff from football season right through hockey season and then kind of take a little bit of a break there. Took a few week break here in the summer, a little hiatus, but we're going to be back on Monday, talk a little week 1 NFL and all that good stuff. But folks, we really enjoyed it. If you tuned in today, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on a replay, give us a follow, give us a like, comment, email us at totalhockeynow@gmail.com. Find us on totalhockeynow and all that good stuff. Again, we welcome all comments, whether it's Ushanko's legitimate, what side is ADP at, or shout out Sherry telling us that we suck because Jake Sanderson should be in a higher tier category. We welcome all the feedback here on Total Hockey Now. For that man over there at Fuzzy Chris 91, I am at Pucking Thoughts Adam Bernard. Back with you next Thursday, all new edition of Total Hockey Now with Mock Draft 8. Total Hockey Now YouTube channel.